Hello.
Thank you so much for coming back.
Thanks for having me back.
And for sharing this movie, which you were telling me you haven't seen in quite a while.
It's been a little bit. It has great memories.
Yeah.
It's has anyone seen it?
Oh yeah.
There's some big fans.
Okay, wait.
This guy, Kellen, he brought us the
Kellen,
DVD.
I love you, Kellen.
He said he watches it all the time.
Yeah, I love this movie.
Okay, so we'd like to interview Kellen. What do you think of this film?
I think it's fantastic. It's awesome.
I'm afraid for you, Kellen. No, I'm kidding. So one person has seen the movie. I mean, Kellen
Two,
and our other friend.
Wait, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Eric Spudik. We were actually in 2 movies together.
Eric, yay!
Evil Ever After and Zombie Geddon.
We're bringing those next time. Those are going way back. Zombie Geddon with Ed Neal and Brink Stevens and Debbie Rochon. That's an oldie, but a kind of goodie. So this movie, if I may say so,
Go for it.
is near and dear to me because it's our sequel, meaning Robert Hiltzik, who did the original, and then going back with Paul D'Angelo and Jonathan Tiersten. And it was 20 years later, so it was really... Oh, it broke. We can't watch it. I'm going to mime the whole thing. So it was a lot of fun to go back to camp. And I just have a lot of fond memories because... it's, Sleepaway Camp was my whole life. So to me, going back to film this was like, oh, really, again? I get to go?
And you were telling me that, like, we'll get into
so
this,
cute.
but...
I love you.
You were telling me that this was right after, like, the cons started for you.
Mhm.
That, like, you became aware of the fan base of this movie, how it touched people's whole lives, and then, all of a sudden, a year after you did that big con where they brought everybody up on stage, there's this.
Fangoria.
Yeah.
That kind of con. Fangoria Weekend of Horrors. And I was like, wow, somebody has seen Sleepaway Camp? Holy shit, that's crazy. And and then we went and did this, and it was like, I was a little bit more wild. When we did the first one, I was 13, and I was just like, hi. Now I was like, yeah! I'm going to drive the golf cart into a ditch.
You guys have also... So wait, has everybody seen the first movie, at least? Yeah, okay. Well, then
Everybody's like, we haven't even heard of it.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to spoil the ending if they hadn't seen the ending, but they have.
Who has not seen Sleepaway Camp, the first one? That would be...
That's good. You guys are safe.
Wait. Really? You haven't seen... No, that's okay. You have to come on up. No, I'm kidding.
No.
You haven't seen the first one? Well, good luck with this one.
Yeah, and you guys may have also recently seen Felissa, or within the last couple of years, in a little movie called Terrifier 2, which, yeah, so cool. So, yeah, we're gonna, I won't really interject, but if you want to interject as we go, she's gonna have some fun stories to share with us. Again, this is a rare screening opportunity. It never plays. It's not streaming readily. The disc is out of print, so...
you can't find this sucker.
Yeah, unless you pay up, and you guys did. So thank you. Yes.
No, you really can't.
Yeah.
This is definitely like a movie that people are constantly, messaging me about, like, where is it? How do I find it? Right? And I said, call Kellen, and they were like,
We gotta get a Blu-ray release. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
We should.
I'm getting the word on the street is it will have a Blu-ray.
Criterion.
I think Kellen is better off standing here than me.
Betamax.
He said he quotes this movie every day. So
Your ass stinks.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Well,
The big quote of the movie.
It's the most quotable movie ever.
we're gonna get right into it.
Okay.
Thank you guys so
Here
much
we
for
go.
supporting the
Mike,
video
come
store.
on up. My
There
friend Mike
are
is here. Are we sitting
bathroom codes. We'll just sit here, or if you want to sit there.
cool.
There's bathroom codes up on the wall if anybody.
Take it off.
I mean, it's pretty incredible because you really don't know that that's you. Like
Really?
in so many movies.
You know
like,
who did my makeup? Mike Marino, who just did Colin Farrell's Penguin.
Oh wow. wow.
makeup. So you can look him up. Like, he's a really amazing effects artist, and he did my makeup every day on set, and it was quite, harrowing, because you're sitting there, and like I said, 6 hours of makeup is a long day. We had to start at like 5 in the morning, and he would sit with me and help and listen to my bullshit.
How much of your dialogue was practical? Obviously, it was like modified.
I mean, I
in
did all
post.
my dialogue, and then Robert had the sound department, track the little
Yeah.
kind of voice box that they wanted after in post.
It's such a great thing because it's a character that's kind of played for laughs throughout the movie, and then.
I mean, who knew that was me? Yeah,
I didn't know you were the killer, but I knew
You kind of felt.
I felt it.
You
yeah.
felt my presence. Yeah, did you know, Mike? Did you start that? I mean, in my opinion, it kind of looks like me. It's like, although they did great work with the airbrushing and the beard and the wig and whatnot, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I was excited to play that character.
How many
Yeah.
days were you on set for this?
I think I want to say, like, if we did 30 days, I was on like 9. I did a lot of the killing.
Yeah.
They had a few people playing the killer. Oh, here we go. But thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for coming back and doing another awesome stream with us. So, first question is, are 2 and 3, the ones that you weren't in, canon in regards to this movie, or is this more of like a Halloween 2018 sort of sequel?
I mean, we did the first one in 1982, and then Robert Hiltzik sold the rights to Michael Simpson in 1987 to do 2 and 3. So they were completely separate. And I think they're fantastic. I love parts 2 and 3. They're funny, they're humorous, they're, great 80s horror movies. And then he retrieved the rights and went on to do this. So he considers this the sequel to part 1.
It's very rare, actually, to see a creator from that era, a director who made an iconic movie like that, be the one who's actually coming back to it that many years later. Did he always sort of have this idea to do this, or was this something that he sort of made in response to how many fans it had?
I think it's in response to what happened so many years later in terms of finding out that people had seen the first movie and then decided, hey, maybe I'll come back. But more because it was his heart and his passion. Robert is a man of great integrity and love for the first film that he created. So it wasn't like, oh, I want to make money. It wasn't like that. It was like, I just kind of want to come back and get some of the band back together, Ricky and Ronnie and crazy ass me, all of us.
And you would, where were you at in your life prior to this movie and sort of like the Fangoria convention that you mentioned? Like, you had kind of moved on to other things in addition to, being in horror movies. Were you kind of nervous to come back? Were you excited to come back? Yeah.
Yes, I was about 32, or maybe, I don't know, somewhere in there, like 32 or 33. It was 20 years after the first one. Am I like getting feedback? Am I okay? Is this okay?
Yeah.
I think for me, I had gone to college. I was now in business. I was doing some theater in New York. I wasn't really sure where I wanted to be. I was a late bloomer. Like, I'm a wild child. I just want to like run wild and dance free. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I still don't know. Okay. I just sort of felt my way along, and I was just coming out of my first marriage. So I was getting divorced, and it was just a weird time for me. And when he called and said, come back and do this film, I was like, this is great. Makes sense. I can go back and I love this, film and the people that are a part of it. Okay, I'll come back. So yeah, it was a
when
good
you
time.
got the script, were you like, I'm playing? It's funny, and it's a great reversal because you're the sort of girl that is actually a guy, and in the original, and in this one you're the guy that is actually a girl. It's kind of a cool reversal for the Angela character.
And Robert had something else to say about this. So if I can get this right, and let me hold on. Apparently, I'm playing the original Angela, who did not die. So no one died in the boating accident. So I'm really Angela, playing a sheriff who he's so confusing that right now I can't even tell you.
Where is this lore? Is this in a book or something?
This is what he told me when we
Okay.
started. I was like, what? Because then I'm killing the sheriff. So how does that? But that's just to get the sheriff's outfit, I guess.
Right.
But that's what he really wanted it to be like. Angela's still alive, and I'm coming back to wreak havoc on what they did to my brother.
Well, now you know. You might not have known in the movie, but now you know.
I don't know, but maybe you'll know.
It feels like one thing that is a tenet of Sleepaway Camp that I think that 2 and 3 kind of don't do is that they veer into this like pure comedic sort of revenge kind of. I mean, they're great slasher movies, but I think Sleepaway Camp is very mean-spirited. The first one and this one also.
So mean.
The bullying in
Everybody's
this movie is insane. Which
Why?
it's very
Matt, tell me why.
Well, I was gonna see if you could shed some light on like if you felt like it was increased or ramped up for a more modern audience, because the kids are not just regular bullies like they are to Angela in the original movie. In this, they're horrible to Alan. Did you feel like it was played maybe less for laughs or more for laughs?
That's a really good question. I think he wanted to push the boundaries and make it worse on the character. I feel like, in my opinion, the script was written just like the first one, with everybody reversed in their roles, even the counselors and the cook and the everything, and even more mean-spirited for the time. I think, given that it was 2003 when we were filming, he was like, let's push it, let's make it worse, let's make it more horrible for this character. But what I've heard from people, and maybe Callan can chime in here, I feel as though we, as an audience, as a people, feel for Angela. Do we feel that same sadness for Alan?
I do. I mean,
Do you?
I can speak from like
Watching it tonight, I do, but back in the day when I watched it, I was like, oh, geez, he's an ass.
Well, the funny thing
And it stinks.
I mean, he could stand to change his shirt, but otherwise,
Yeah, I felt so badly for him tonight.
You said you filmed this 03. I was in high school at the time.
You were like, I was born that year.
And this is like, there were kids that were really bad like this in high school in the early 2000s. Now you can't get away with this, but in the early 2000s, this was like, I saw stuff kind of close to this happen, which is insane.
What? I want names and numbers now.
So
That's terrible.
I mean, in a way, I think one thing that's important about Sleepaway Camp, the original movie, is how you kind of used it as like, you've been an advocate for, people who've connected with the movie over the years. I wonder if he has kind of had things come of that, people who had like similar trauma that like reached out to him after seeing him in this movie, but he did a really great job in it.
I think he's fantastic. This actor he's such a sweet person. I can say it was a very kind set. Everyone was so lovely. It was a lot of fun. I was the rebel on the set. I was doing terrible things. I was driving the golf carts at night, like drunk into ditches, because I think I was kind of acting out like I wasn't able to party and everything. Obviously, I was 13 during the first one, so this time around I was like, "Watch out, bitches!" And they were like, "Oh God, please keep her under control." But it was fun. I was, you know, and so we had a lot of laughs. We had a great time. It didn't feel mean spirited, and maybe when I watched it after we had filmed it, it still led to my feeling like, "Oh, it's all in fun." But now seeing it after so many years, I'm like, "Holy shit, this is mean." That was like really brutal because you can feel that he felt attacked. Like Angela, you can tell was like, "I'm gonna get you back." This was like, "I don't know how to get you back." Does that make sense? That's kind of what I felt.
Yeah, I mean, he ends up in the dirt, beat to shit. At least he survives this movie. Maybe there will get to be a sequel someday where he gets to be the killer. I don't know if that was ever discussed, but I almost feel like he's kind of above that in a way. Like he kind of is a better guy than that. So
He's grown.
Was there a certain reverence for you when you were filming this? Like, were the people on set, other than the returning cast, like fans, kind of? Had they seen the original movie, or was it kind of just a production that was made on like a similar, then to it was now, like budget scale, low budget production?
No, it was actually a pretty good budget, and I feel like they had all watched it, and like they were just really kind young people. So I was a producer, like kind of behind the scenes. I helped cast it. We had actually auditioned so many people who went on to do big things, like Vanessa Ferlito, who went on to like make a lot of TV, and a few other actors who became pretty big stars auditioned. Howard Stern's wife, Beth Ostrowski, she auditioned, and I was like, "We gotta get her." She had just started dating Howard Stern, and I was like, "Hi, oh my God, I'm a big fan." And unfortunately, Robert didn't listen to me. He was like, "Nah." So he cast the people he wanted. They enjoyed the first one. But no, it was just kind of like, I was so grateful to be back on set making this movie that I didn't really think about it in terms of like, I was Angela the first one. Not at all. No, I came back like, "Hi guys, I made a movie before," I'm so goofy. It was silly.
The set itself, obviously the camp has changed, the name has changed to Nanabe, which I guess is like a play
Being a man.
on, being a man. Why was the set like laid out in an attempt to be similar with similar landmarks? Because I noticed we're hitting a lot of the same cues, like the boiling thing in the kitchen and the dock, and a lot of those things are sort of history repeating itself. Was a lot of attention paid to making the location like accurate to the original?
I think Robert felt like he struggled with the first one in terms of certain moments, and he just sort of continued with this being similar with with that. I don't know. This is a funny movie, It's like didn't get a lot of attention. It came out, like I said, we filmed in 2003. It came out in 2008. They had a lot of problems in post trying to get the effects going and all that good stuff. I met my husband on this set, like I said, CKY. They flew out, so I clearly wasn't paying any attention. I was driving golf carts into ditches and making out with boys from the band. So I was like, "Woo, I'm having a blast!" So to me, it was like just another day at camp.
Well, it's a very personal movie for you. I mean, like I said, it was sort of a return to acting. I kind of want to talk about like how this has sort of become a career for you since then. This was sort of a turning point for you, where after this movie, after that Fangoria convention, you became a staple at cons, and sort of like, I don't know, I think many people now know you for that. And how has that journey been, just sort of like becoming a part of like a community of horror fans that are so embracing of this franchise?
It has been, as you know, the greatest joy of my life. Because of Sleepaway Camp and then having done Return, it's like the best thing that ever happened to me. I get to sit with everybody here tonight, and I don't know, I often reflect and I'm like, I don't know what, my heart is so in this horror community, like, you're my family. You know, this is the greatest gift of my life, besides my kids, truly. And I'm so honored, and thank you for having me. I want to just look at each one of you, like, you know, when I do these conventions, I cry a lot because I feel so grateful. And from Return to Sleepaway Camp, then I started to make more horror movies, like The Amazing Zombiegeddon, or maybe Slaughter Party, or perhaps, I don't know. It was like, I didn't care. I just wanted to be on set and work with people and be on a horror movie set that was indie. To me, the indie sets are the best sets, and be at conventions. And wherever I could go on this adventure, I will go, because we are a family, and this is the most beautiful thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
I mean, it's truly amazing. Like, I mean, it's rare that you know, like, someone can kind of turn that role they did when they were a kid into an entire career. Very few people get to experience it. So I have to talk about the continuation of that. How did you get to be involved with the Terrifier franchise?
I stalk them. Because I love conventions so much, and I love horror movies so much, that I would go to conventions myself, and I would, like, attack Adam Green, like, oh my God, I'm a huge Hatchet fan. Hi, so if you ever make another Hatchet, my name's Felissa Rose, and I'm your girl. And he was just like, okay, nice to meet you. And I did the same thing with Damien Leone. I was such a fan of the first Terrifier that I went to the New Jersey HorrorCon in 2018, and I beelined for his table, and I was just like, you don't understand, like, I love you so much. And he was like, you know, thank you. And I met David, and I met all of them. And I feel like maybe they felt like they didn't have a choice. Like, if we don't call her, shit's gonna go bad real fast. And I mean, we became, in all honesty, we became friendly, and I just enjoy I love them. Their heart, their passion, their creativity. They're the night. If you ever meet them, has anybody met David and Damien? And aren't they the nicest people? Such, like, the most beautiful people you could ever meet, and you want to be friends with them. So I made it my business to be friends with them. No, I can't say without kidding, because it's so silly, but I do. I just love meeting people who are so passionate like that.
I mean, you kind of were like a talent scout for them, in the sense that not everybody was an adopter of Terrifier 1. It was sort of the 2 and 3 that really made it into this phenomenon, and you kind of saw it as this indie thing that was made for very little money, like, in the way that, you know, your own films had been. And I don't know, it's great that you were able to...
I was just in love with that character.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, like, holy shit, when I saw that, oh, we've made, you know, this is an iconic character now. And I just loved what Damien had done. And I had no idea. When he called me and said, hey, I have this little part, like, come do Terrifier 2, I was like, I'll serve coffee, like, whatever you want. And it was like off to the races, you know. And then seeing what he has done has blown my mind. I look at it like, holy shit, like, these people are my friends, and they killed it, literally.
I mean, you have been now a part of, a small part of the highest grossing movie of the year, or the most profitable movie of the year. It's pretty amazing to see what a impact that made, and I think that's, like, horror fans just, like, speaking with our wallets. I mean,
indie horror movies, let's give it up for us. We did it. Because one of us wins, we all win. That's how I see it. I'm like, we all won, because it, you know, it succeeded.
And you were in another movie with David as well, and within the last year, right?
Yes, it's called Stream. Has anyone seen Stream? It was made by the producers of Terrifier, and it's a fantastic film. With just a little cast, like, you know, Danielle Harris, Tony Todd, may he rest in peace, Dee Wallace, Tim Curry, Jeffrey Combs, David Howard Thornton, Dave Sheridan, I don't know, the list goes on and on. It was crazy.
Talking about like legends that passed, did you get to work with Isaac Hayes much on Return?
Well, I was there the entire shoot, and I was fortunate where I, spent days with the entire cast and crew, and certainly he and I would go and have breakfast and lunch together, and he was such a sweet man. He was quiet, but very philosophical, and we got to have great talks together. And I feel like on these sets, it's so enjoyable because we do connect as a group. It's like we get to sit together and chat, and it's so beautiful, and I will say, like, Tony Todd was one of my dearest friends. That was really, really hard. And let's just keep him alive and always think about him. May he rest in peace. Such a beautiful soul who loved our community so dearly. Who's so happy to be, part of this horror genre.
It really is like a family of people, and like when someone passes who's like a part of that family, it's as real as anything. It's as real as your own flesh and blood. So we all dearly mourn Tony Todd. I want to open it up to a few audience questions, and then after that, if you want to say hi to Felissa, she'll stay and sign and take pictures with folks. Any questions from the audience before we get into that
please.
Portion?
Hi.
Yeah, somebody back there. Yeah.
Is there any chance we could get like a prequel, like Aunt Martha and how she?
So I promise you, I'm already working on it. Regardless, whatever, I know, I'm on a text thread with the whole Sleepaway Camp family. And the other day, everyone said, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And then a text came through like, oh, we have some announcements about a series and a new film. And I thought, that's exciting. But no matter what, I really want to tell the story about Aunt Martha. I think she deserves her own story. I think that story would be riveting. I know myself as a viewer, I would love to see that character have her own universe, her own story, her own everything. I'd love Lauren Lavera from Terrifier to play Aunt Martha. So yes, that is a 100% yes. Yes, thank you.
Cyrus.
Hi.
Hi.
You mentioned that the director of this film, when filming Alan's ridicule and bullying, was angry, and pushing the envelope was always seemingly the goal with the ridicule. And Matt kind of opened up about resonating with that character. And I definitely deeply resonated with him. I feel like bullying can absolutely be that cruel, and gang mentality, when spiraling out of control, can get that far. And I was wondering if the director opened up about his past experiences about that, and if he got to, we love horror because we can transform this darkness that we encounter through life and mold it and shape it into something meaningful and therapeutic. And the movie is fun, and it's flavored with so much comedy, but it made me feel very vulnerable while watching that story with Alan. And I was just curious what the director's journey with that was, and what his healing process was from that, and what led to him making this movie.
Well, thank you for the question. I'd have to say, like, I really agree with you. Like I said, watching it tonight, it really it was intense.
Angry and mean.
It's so mean. And it's way more cruel than the original. It's almost like the original was bubblegum, and this was like deep and dark. Like from a core, very soulful place.
It's also like Angela, the ending twist of Sleepaway Camp, the big realization is, if this camp is supposed to be an environment and like a closed sandbox for kids to like get along, and the reveal is that Angela isn't what we thought she was at all. And it's like Alan hasn't even made the discoveries with himself yet, and was thrown into this volatile environment, and is just a reflection of being pushed around. And I felt that reflection, and I hope other people did too.
I know. Did everyone feel that way? Because it was dark. This is dark. Like, I know we had moments of levity where we're like, but it's like you can almost feel even the cinematography was dark. You know what I mean? Whereas in Sleepaway Camp, it's a lot brighter. The lighting is brighter and lighter, and this was like dark and gloomy, and you felt that sort of heaviness. No, Robert Hiltzik is very much a filmmaker who keeps all of his cards close to himself. He doesn't reveal a lot about who he is in general as a person. I believe, if I had to guess, a lot of this happened, they're like his stories in a way.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of having gone to Camp Algonquin where we filmed the first movie. So I think he obviously felt this and is purging in a way, if you will. And I think it's good. We need to see this and we need to have this conversation. This is very important, just like the first movie. These conversations we need to have as a community, as a society. I will continue for the rest of my life until I'm dead to make sure that we all take care of each other. I don't care who it is. My friend Alfred's listening to me at every freaking show, and Mike and Matt, we need to be kind. We need to take care of each other. It's so important. This society we're in, we have one quick little journey here. Please, let's hug each other and take care of each other. That's all that matters, truly. So thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your feelings and what it, and just watching the film.
Thank you for making it.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's such a, like, in the way that the first movie kind of was relatable for people that were going through, like, gender identity
Yes.
issues and stuff
Yes.
like that. One thing I asked you when we talked about the first movie was, like, how the hell do you make that in a modern audience where our societal and political thoughts have changed, by and large, on all of those issues? This one kind of chose to do something different and tackle the very real issue of bullying, which was kind of treated as a joke in the 80s and was just sort of like a, man up kid sort of thing in the 80s, where you see it so prevalently in so many, like, Stephen King movies. And I think it was like, now that is a real issue, is bullying, and that has become the main focus of this movie. But the gender swap thing is done really brilliantly in this movie, because that's such a core element of Sleepaway Camp, and the twist is incredibly effective in this also. So I appreciate that you kept that in. Was there, by the way, ever a version of the ending where you see you taking the mustache off and stuff? I noticed that was, like, cut out, kind of. Like, you see the...
In this?
Yeah.
Did it not show that?
Well, it's, like, hitting the ground, kind of, and, like, it's, like, the hood kind of, like,
Oh,
Jason
yeah.
Part 5 effect. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what, like, if there are different versions, because I recall, like, in the first time I saw it, you could visibly see that.
Yeah, it was, like, cut around a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought. It was interesting, like, makeup transformation.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions from right here?
Hi.
Hi, my name's Jonathan. By the way, I came to the other sleepaway camp thing. So it's good to
At the Frida?
here.
Oh, here.
Yeah, it's
okay,
good to
thank
see
you
you
for
again.
being back.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Also, this isn't a question, but a statement. Because having I think both the movies are great. Love the first one. Love this one as well. One thing that both the movies kind of show, and it's like a problem within the world of the movie, is that, like, yes, the kids are really bad. They're worse in this movie, like 10 times worse. But also the way they handle the problem, like the counselors, the head of they do it completely wrong. They either try to put a Band-Aid on it, or they sweep it under the rug, or they respond with, like, anger. And I think it's named Ronnie, the muscle guy.
Yeah, Ronnie.
He's like
Useless. No, I'm kidding.
well, I was gonna say inept, but like slightly less inept. He's trying to do something, but it's just like, hey, don't do that. Oh, we got to do something. Hey, put that back. And I'm like, what are you doing? These kids are like bullying on an extreme level. What do you time out? Like, there has to be, like, at no point is there punishment that makes sense for these kids. At no point is there counseling, like, not actually counseling and pulling someone to the side and say, hey, look, you can't do this, or hey, look, are you okay? Is there that doesn't happen in either movie, and I think the consequences of not doing that are pretty apparent.
Yeah, and I think what Robert was also saying with both films is this is how camp truly. Has anyone gone to Sleepaway Camp? Because apparently this is what it was like at camp. And I'm like,
Oh, I
"Ooh,
hated it.
You went to Sleepaway Camp?
Oh my god, it was so bad.
Oh my god.
I was not conditioned for it at all.
That's
And talk
I'm
about the
sorry.
frogs thing. I went to Sleepaway Camp. Okay, actually, literally around this time that this movie was being made is when I was being forced to go to Sleepaway Camp. Within a 3 to 5 year window of this happening, I remember we would be in the showers, like these communal showers, and kids were throwing frogs over the wall into the shower with you and stuff. Not to overshare, but I just seeing the frog torture in this reminded me of that.
That's awful. Where are the parents? Like,
Oh, my parents, I was going to the office every day,
Calling your
calling,
parents?
trying to beg
And
them
what did they
to take me
say?
home. They were like, Bill's character, you got I think a lot of the myth of camp is that it teaches survival skills kind of, and it's literally just you're surviving the horror of other people, particularly young people who don't have a lot of empathy developed yet. So I don't know, maybe that's
I'm so sorry. I would have kicked their asses for you.
you would have done way
terrible.
worse. Would have murdered.
I would have killed all of them. That is awful. It makes me. I want to close down every sleepaway camp. That's terrible. That's what I hear. I had never gone, and I definitely would never send my kids. I am such a lunatic when I'm not a good As soon as I see one kid mean to another kid, I'm like, no. I'm a nut. I cannot handle bullying. Obviously, who can? But it's really when you have kids and you see it in your face, it's awful. Kids I don't get it. Parents need some serious training.
Did people bully you when you were a kid, prior?
Yes,
to
I
the
got
movie?
bullied,
And
yes.
did they stop?
I got
fucking with
bullied
you
a lot
after the
when.
movie?
What's that?
Did they never fuck with you again after seeing the movie?
No, it was pretty much after I did Sleepaway Camp. The girls were really mean. They were like, let's throw gum in her hair. She did a movie. And I was very quiet and insecure. Super insecure. So I was just I'll do whatever you say, whatever you want. It was a really tough time. I had a really hard time. But we try to get through. I mean, I tell my teenagers, I have 3 teenagers, and I'm like, don't worry, I'll handle it for you. It's rough. I don't get it. I don't know why we can't. I guess everybody has to sort of grow through it, but it sucks.
They shouldn't have to.
I don't think so. I hate it. And it's not only just bullying kids on kids. My son was bullied by a teacher, and and
me too.
don't even get me started on that because I can't
It's a
handle it.
nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, my gym teacher fat shamed me all the time.
I am so sorry.
It's okay. I healed and
You are
got through it.
beautiful, and I love you, and I'm sorry. I was at school every day. My son and I talk about it all the time. I'm like, I was definitely the squeaky wheel. I was like, listen here.
Yeah.
And no one would listen, but I felt better just being there, and hopefully he understood how deeply I love him and that I was there to protect him.
Well, I'm sure that he really appreciates having you as a mom.
He's an amazing kid.
I think we had another question back there.
Yeah, thank you. I really enjoyed the film.
Thank you for being here. It's Mike.
Badass.
Nice to meet you.
A little clip at the end. But my question actually was, I think I heard you when you were doing some of the commentary during the film, that no animals were harmed in the film.
Thank
I
goodness.
just wanted to confirm that because those frogs really look real.
Yeah.
And yeah.
They definitely used some real ones in terms of close-ups. They would have a frog wrangler come in with some frogs that are made for film, but none of them were part of the actual they would have the effects artists create and mold and make the pretend. Yes, of course. I'm a huge animal advocate, lover. I rescue animals. I I could show you videos. My house is a farm. Dogs, cats running around, lizards. So
She actually sort of co-parents
I
a
do.
pet with one of our other guests who we interviewed here one time, Mr. Adam Green.
Yes, Adam Green and I rescued a cat who was a teen mom. She was pregnant at 17 weeks with 3 kittens, and he took 2 of the kittens after begging me profusely because I don't like to give any animals up, but I knew how beautiful he is as a parent, and I gave him the babies, and we text all the time, and he loves them so deeply. So we're all one big happy family, and it's lovely. And yes, in my house right now, they're like, I'm so in love with them. Like, you know what? Animals are the best because you know what they do for us? They keep us present. They keep us centered and present. And I'm like such a crazy person that sometimes I just need an animal to keep me centered, and I just focus on them and play with them, and it's the best.
And you're hearing about the co-parenting situation between the director of the Hatchet movies and the star of Sleepaway. Does anybody have any other questions for Felissa? Oh, in the back there.
Yeah.
Hi, with the beautiful baby.
Hi, yes.
Hi.
So animals are actually the reason that compassion could grow in any individual, really. I worked with the school system, and then being in the yard, I was the only adult in the yard watching over. This one bully kid, the biggest bully, kicked the kickball 3 times, 3 days to the back of my head. Never said sorry, didn't pursue it myself because, I felt embarrassed to, say, yeah, the kickball being kicked to the back. This is undisciplined time that we need to address a lot of it. I was honestly thinking and hoping there would be a message at the end of the movie about bullying because it's a very big issue.
Yeah.
And you cannot touch them, you cannot talk to them, or if you dare say something, the dad is even bigger bully from what I understood.
And that's where they get it from,
yeah,
sadly.
and they get it from there, and you're like, your hands are tied, your tongue is tied, what do you do? How do you discipline? So this is a huge issue.
And what about the principal of the school?
She was moving on, she was transferring, retiring. It was a crazy time, and I didn't pursue it, which is wrong of me because the 3rd time he did that, I blacked out. I fell down. The kid I was working with, he helped me. It affected my vision and everything. But yeah, I live with the consequence because I wanted to be the bigger person and watch over them, but it's very serious issue. Bullying is a real thing. It happens more than we know. Not only in the camps, in the school. There are some good kids, but when they see the bully gets away with it, either they're going to be their victim or they're going to follow the bully's footsteps. And there's got to be some kind of disciplinary thing. So I was hoping that you were going to say a message at the end that this is what the bullies get or something. This was a revenge of a bully in a way.
Well, hopefully, again, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
okay.
My
Thank
love
you.
to you.
Thank
And
you.
with films like this, we have to have conversations.
Absolutely.
And sometimes they're hard conversations. But like I said, we need to speak up. And that's a very important part of life, and whether it's at a school or a camp or in life in general, adults with adults, adults with kids, kids with kids, we need to speak up. Let's all be one another's advocate, and let's make sure that we take a stand and we fight against it together. Very important.
What made it worse is that I wasn't even talking with him. I wasn't doing anything. I didn't even have any interaction. There's no excuse for bullying anyways, either way. Just for the kick of it, for the laugh of it, he did, from what I understand.
It's awful.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, me too.
Ugh.
Yeah, but thank
Shame
you
on
for
the
bringing
parents. Shame
that
on
issue,
them.
stirring it up.
Absolutely. I will
This is a great
continue to have these conversations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Always.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a terrible topic. It's so difficult. And this movie really is hard.
It kind of, it brings it up. It kind of,
Have you seen this?
Yeah, I sort of pre-research everything, and it was funny actually thinking like digging into this. I was kind of like, ooh, like this is gonna be an interesting discussion, and we can't shy away from it. Like when we
No,
talked
we
about
must
the
talk about
gender
it. We
issues
must
in the
address. It's the elephant in the room. We must talk about it. This is a very important topic. It's just as prevalent today as it was when we were making these movies, and we must fight against it and stop it. You know, again, being kind and loving. That's the only way to live, right? I mean, that's the only way we can get through day by day, is to take care of one another and love one another. That is it. That is so important.
Marshall?
My question was about the production. Was this one of those kinds of camp movies where they actually put the cast up in the camp?
Yes, we lived at camp.
And did you like have a screening of the first one at any point, or the first Sleepaway camp? For all the young people?
For all of for the cast and crew?
Yeah.
Yes, we did actually. We so most of us lived at camp, which I loved because we were in the cabins, and I was like, party in my cabin. And then in the rec hall, I think it was like the first week, we watched Sleepaway Camp, and it was a lot of fun. And everybody, came out, the cast and crew, and had a good time, and we enjoyed ourselves. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, the memories from this are really beautiful and not, mean. We were all a loving family, and that's what you get when you're typically on an indie horror movie set. Everybody's so grateful and happy and positive and loving, and it's a great time. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it.
Well, I love how every time you come here, it feels like we get much deeper than we imagined that we would.
Is it me?
No, it's that there's themes in these movies that kind of go beyond what they were intended to be, and they have to be unpacked. And I love, thank you for sharing in these intimate discussions with us. It really
I love it. This
meaningful.
to me is the most beautiful part of this is an extension. This is part of making the film. So you make a movie, you get cast in a movie, you make a movie, and then hopefully the movie's done, and then you get to sit with beautiful friends, and you get to unpack and discuss what the deep-rooted meaning, and typically that's what a horror movie is. There's so much, it's not just what meets the eye, like, oh, there's a kid at camp. It's like, no, there's a lot going on, and socially we need to really discuss that and get involved with whatever that is, and make sure that we together as a community take care of it.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
joining
having
us
me.
today. It's a real honor and a pleasure, as always.
I love it. I'm not leaving. No.
Well, and she's not leaving, so I'm going to ask everybody to clear the room and make a nice orderly line outside.
We can hug.
If you want to give Felissa a hug or share some stories with her.
I do love that. I love a hug. Any question you have, anything, just please feel free. Like, that's why I'm here. I love meeting everyone, and I am super grateful that you're all here and you took the time out of your lives to come and watch this film with me. Thank you. And thank you to Matt. Please give it up for Be Kind. Be Kind!
Yeah, literally, guys.